As Christians, we are reminded of a profound yet simple truth. In every situation of life, whether in joy, pain, confusion, or celebration, our first response should be to turn to God. Too often, we seek solutions in our own strength, consult others, or worry endlessly, forgetting that the Creator of the universe is willing, able, and ready to hear us. The Bible is rich with stories and examples of men and women who chose to speak to God first and found not only answers, but peace, guidance, and divine intervention. In Philippians 4 verse 6, Paul instructs us, "Do not be anxious about anything, but in every situation, by prayer and petition, with thanksgiving, present your requests to God." This verse emphasizes the importance of making God our first point of contact. Instead of worrying or running to others, we are called to first bring our concerns, hopes, and desires before God in prayer. Talking to God first opens the door for Him to guide us, strengthen us, and reveal His will for our lives. Throughout the Bible, we see numerous examples of people who turned to God first and experienced miraculous results. In 1 Samuel 1, we read the story of Hannah, who was heartbroken because she was unable to bear children. Instead of harboring bitterness or seeking human solutions, she went to the temple and poured her heart out to God in prayer. God heard her and blessed her with a son, Samuel, who would become one of Israel's greatest prophets. Her story teaches us the power of seeking God first, especially in our moments of deepest pain and longing. Similarly, in 2 Chronicles 20, when King Jehoshaphat faced a great multitude of enemies, his first response was not to rally his army or consult his generals. Instead, he sought the Lord, calling the entire nation to fast and pray. God responded by giving them an unusual strategy for victory. They were to sing praises. As they obeyed and placed their trust in God, He fought their battles for them, and the enemies were defeated without them lifting a sword. This is the power of talking to God first. When we talk to God first, we acknowledge His sovereignty and lordship over our lives. It's an act of faith, showing that we trust in His wisdom, His timing, and His power. Proverbs 3 verses 5 to 6 tells us, "Trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not on your own understanding. In all your ways submit to Him, and He will make your paths straight." By seeking Him first, we are inviting Him to take control of the situation, and we can be confident that He will lead us in the right direction. Talking to God first also brings peace to our hearts. In the same passage from Philippians, Paul goes on to say that when we present our requests to God, the peace of God, which transcends all understanding, will guard your hearts and your minds in Christ Jesus. Philippians 4 verse 7. This peace is a supernatural calm that comes when we know we've placed our burdens in the hands of a loving and all-powerful Father. It doesn't mean that every problem will be solved instantly, but it assures us that we're not alone and that God is at work on our behalf. Furthermore, talking to God first allows us to align our will with His. Sometimes we are quick to act based on our own desires or emotions, only to realize later that our way wasn't the best way. But when we take the time to seek God in prayer, He can reveal His plan, which is always better than ours. Isaiah 55 verses 8 to 9 reminds us, "For my thoughts are not your thoughts, neither are your ways my ways, declares the Lord. As the heavens are higher than the earth, so are my ways higher than your ways, and my thoughts than your thoughts." God's perspective is eternal, and His wisdom is perfect. By talking to Him first, we can avoid unnecessary mistakes and align ourselves with His perfect will. Talking to God first is not only about seeking answers or help in times of trouble. It's about cultivating a relationship with Him. Just as we build relationships with others by communicating regularly, we build our relationship with God by spending time with Him in prayer. Jesus set an example of this in His own life. Despite being the Son of God, He often withdrew to solitary places to pray, Luke 5, verse 16. Before major decisions, such as choosing His 12 disciples, He spent time in prayer. If Jesus, who was without sin, needed to talk to God, how much more do we? In conclusion, talk to God first is a powerful principle that, when practiced, can transform our lives. It invites divine intervention, brings peace, aligns our will with God's, and deepens our relationship with Him. Whether in times of need or moments of joy, let us make it a habit to turn to God first and trust Him to lead us in every area of our lives. Now, as you reflect on this message, take a moment to subscribe to our channel so we can reach more souls with a message of God's love and grace.